They're talking bracket, y'all. Rink brothers.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. It is March Chadness, episode 10. I believe we have hit double digits. I am Chad Rink. You can follow me on the X, Chad at Chad Ochorinco. My brother Nate, follow him on the X at Nate Lifters 23. Check out fanstreamsports.com for all our sports content, written information, all that good stuff. So talking NCAA here first, though. I'll tell you what, man, talking about Indiana football being a national championship, the Nebraska Cornhuskers basketball team is a top 10 team, and I think they are still undefeated.
They are undefeated. We had them dead to rights. We were up 16 and blew it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Yeah, Nebraska might be legit.
They might be. Like it's we'll see how they go through here. I know Michigan did finally lose. They were unbeaten, but they ended up losing the other night to, it was like a Wisconsin team. I think Wisconsin beat them or something like that.
It was Wisconsin or Minnesota or something. Maybe it was
something
Wisconsin.
like that. It was, yeah. Like Alabama lost to
There's
Vanderbilt.
only one undefeated team for a season, and that's the 76 Hoosiers. So
exactly. So we'll
nobody
take that.
goes undefeated anymore.
Right. No, they don't. It's not in this day and age. So Bama Vanderbilt was a good game. You know, Vanderbilt too being an ranked 11 here as well. So Big Ten teams are looking pretty good. And it's just, again, it's still early looking at this stuff. So there's really still not too much to talk about until we start getting closer to, okay, now we're looking to see what teams may miss out. Like I'm not sure what Kentucky's record is now, but like a team like Kentucky, who was preseason top 25, kind of dropped out 25, but they're still right there. But if they get closer to 12, 13 losses, who knows? So we'll talk more about that. What I want to talk about before we get into our bracket is there was a kid that I coached in 7th grade who ended up making the Hall of Fame for was it Cincinnati, the community college down there. I can't remember.
UC Claremont.
UC Claremont. He went there, played, made the Hall of Fame there. He coaches his kids as well in basketball, so he does a lot of these like more like travel AAU type things. And he posts a lot about when teams should just play man to man. We should just make it man to man in the lower levels, elementary school kids, teaching them fundamentals. I think it's for like 6th grade and below. Like once you get into middle school, then we can start worrying about zones, but it's more about like, let's teach these kids the fundamentals of defense and not worry about trying to win, because most likely 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, you're not having a lot of kids that can just rain it from 3. So if you pack in a zone, it gives you a better chance. So you have coached your sons through younger and up. I have coached my sons. And I coach middle school. I coach them in middle school, Emerald High School, but I coached our kids through, and you and I weren't like in the AAU circuit, but it's all the same concepts. And we did, when we played, when the elementary, we couldn't do until we got to middle school, you could play zone. You had to play man, and the early ones, they had you match up with like an armband
wristband
for equal skill level. So what are your thoughts on, number one, should we just be doing man in the elementary school level across the board? And 2, do you think this is part of the problem of why maybe we don't see as good of fundamentals in the like high school, college, and above levels?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I've coached them in the Beach Acres leagues, and yes, once you get to Kiwanis, then you can start playing zone, but it is man-to-man before that. So I think that should be mandated anyways. And even at this age, and even when Aiden, played, who I coached through 12th grade, every team plays zone, and it drives me crazy. But we do play zone if there is a matchup problem where, clearly there's a couple guys that we can't handle man-to-man, we do zone. But we played today. We didn't win. We were up, but we lost by 15, and I think we were 1 from 16 from the foul line. So
wow, yeah,
that drives me crazy. But if we can match up, I prefer to play man at any age than zone.
Yeah, I'm a man-to-man guy at heart. However, I understand because here's the thing. I think people don't want to talk about, like, if you teach zone properly, like, it's all the same concepts defensively about helping on the ball where you want to direct the ball handler and stuff like that. I do prefer man because I think you do more with man. I think you can do a better job on the rebounding aspect when you are man to man because you should be able to box out better than in a zone. I always like mixing them up anyways, unless I just knew this team could not handle any kind of pressure, then I would just, really pressure them. But I don't mind mixing it up sometimes just to throw a zone in every now and then then them get used to that and then come back a man. But I'm with you. I'm not as I think in the elementary school, it probably should be all man to man because I think that's part of the problem too, is then you get these kids that just want to jack up threes. Thanks, Steph Curry. All the time, and they can't make a mid-range jump shot, which I miss so much. I sound like you and I sound like such old people here.
We're
we need to bring back the mid-range because it really is, because nowadays it's just like a dunk or a three, or you flop and you get to the foul line. So I think that's been part of the problem. These kids, I have no problem with I am not at the point like my father-in-law who thinks like the 3-point line was the worst thing to ever happen to basketball. I enjoy the 3-point line. It makes it more exciting. It's nothing. It's a dagger when you're on a little run and you're up like 8 and you drive in, they collapse, you kick it out, and your guy hits a 3 to go up like 11 and they call a timeout. Like, dude, there is nothing that gets you more pumped up than that, like as a coach or a player. So I am not anti 3-point line. I just think the whole concept, and this is a whole nother show, but we'll hear, like, 3-point line, a 3-point shot isn't always the better shot than a 14-foot shot. And that's a whole other thing. Once we're in the off season and we don't really have any March college basketball to talk about, we'll probably dive into a whole lot of cool sports topics. So, but for us, that's not this show. We just wanted to talk about our Bears and our Hoosiers, talk a little bit of hoops. And like I said,
I do want to say one thing. Do you remember when growing up, when Jim Boeheim at Syracuse was the only guy who ran zone in college basketball? Everyone's like, oh, they're gonna have to figure out how to play against the zone, and now it's everywhere in every level. And,
I
think it's hurting it a little bit.
Yeah, he perfected it because he was able to recruit these lanky 6'6" to 6'10" guys that just could, like, you get like your top of the zone are 6'7", 6'9" guys, and they're just like, dude, that was tough, and that was kind of brilliant because they would come out and pressure you. That wasn't just sit back zone. He played up, down, low, and you got these long arms. It's hard to pass against a zone like that, and not when you just got like 5'10" dudes at the top where like that. So it's funny, but now like a lot of people do it even in college, and then the pros doing it. It's kind of still weird. I don't think they do it too often anymore, but
I don't think they play defense at all.
Well, that's true. They do not play defense at all. So, we're going to take a quick break, and we come back. We're going to come as the wild card weekend of the NFL. So we thought, why not have an NFL quarterback all-time best bracket? So we'll come back in a few moments.
Golfers, IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Tom's Town, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tom's Town, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. What is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there, over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Although it may seem tempting to go without healthcare insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. So I said NFL greatest quarterbacks of all time. We have 32, a couple play-ins. So this is I think our first sports one that we've had in our brackets on our sports show. I think.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It is. So we're doing that. And again, we've had with this one, and any of the other ones we've had, if Nate and I did not agree, we would go to the text group. That was a little bit clunky. I'm trying to get people to come in as like a judge or just a guest pop in from when we need them on things. So I was able to rope in my oldest son, John, who is a Kentucky fan, which hurts me, but he is allowed to be a fan of Kentucky. Because I had him in
recently too. So
yeah, it is. They have not been good. I had him in my preseason Final Four. So John is going to join us. He's going to pop in on certain on conversations that we need, or if there's a split. So John is not of our generation. John was born in 2000. So he's going to have a different perspective than us. And I do want to get him in on one of the matchups we have just to see what he has to say about it. But John, welcome to the show for the first time. It will not be your last. We'll have to try to get you up in the studio. But I know you work third shift, so you'll be up 24 hours. They want you driving like an hour home from here. But I do appreciate your time.
We're pushing 22 hours right now.
Yeah. So
thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
Just try not to fall asleep when you're off stage here. So we will back you out, and then we'll come to you periodically through the show. All right, bud?
All right.
All right.
You tell him that he was our second option as a judge because Judge Judy turned us down.
He said he could call him Judge Johnny because it was like Judge Judy. No, he knows he was second behind Decision Dave, so he's just happy to be part of it. All right, so
I'm happy to have him.
I am too. I love all my kids, and they are fun. Anytime, and it is. You've got an 18-year-old 18-year-old, 19-year-old, and another one in middle school. So anytime you can get your kids that are out of the house or older that aren't really around a lot to do stuff with you, that you'll take that anytime. So that is good. So let's hit the bracket here. We'll just go section by section. So number one, Tom Brady, the number one overall seed, should not be a surprise to anybody. The playing game, Cam Newton, Boomer Esiason, 8-9, match up a couple running quarterbacks, Steve Young, Russell Wilson. I may refer to him as RW1. That is for Decision Dave, and we always refer to him in our text as RW1. My buddy Dave's a huge Seahawks fan. We have Aaron Rodgers, Randall Cunningham, and then Matthew Stafford, Dan Fouts. So let's go to the play-in game, and let's talk about Cam Newton, Boomer Esiason. So most of these guys, Nate and I have watched play. There are going to be some older guys that I felt should be in here, even though Nate and I are way too young for that. So two different style quarterbacks. You got a lefty from the pocket, great passer. You got Cam Newton, who was just a tank when he got past the line of scrimmage. So any thoughts on either of these guys, Nate?
I forgot that Boomer won a MVP.
I did too.
And I live here. I think it's, as much as I love Boomtown, it's got to be Cam Newton just with the dual threat. I mean, they both each have one MVP. Cam Newton's second in all-time rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. That guy was a tank. And as much as I hate to say no to Boomtown, I think Cam Newton, if you were drafting a team right now, you would take Cam Newton, a guy that big, that can run that well, throw it that well. I think with the dual threat factor, it goes Cam Newton.
Yeah. Here's my stance on quarterbacks. In fantasy, I will take a dual threat quarterback over a traditional quarterback all the time just because of fantasy points. If I'm running a franchise, I would rather my guys be mobile and scramble than just be like a threat to just run like a Michael Vick or something like that. I was there. I like Boomer. I like when you're talking about Bengals quarterbacks, I liked Boomer better than Kenny Anderson, but it is Cam Newton. He just added a different dimension. He did get to a Super Bowl. I know Boomer did also, but Cam Newton just was a different monster, and he could throw the ball. He got over 30,000 passing yards too. So I think I'm going Cam Newton as well there. So the next one, the 8-9 one, this is an interesting one here. I mean, Tom Brady's going through. I'm not even going to talk about Tom Brady till later, anyways. So Steve Young, Russell Wilson. So with that, it's interesting because Steve Young started later because he was with Tampa and then was behind Montana for a little bit. But when he got the starts in San Francisco, he was like the best quarterback for that stretch. And then Russ was out the gate great. And then now the last three, ever since he left Seattle, and even that last year, Seattle, it's kind of tarnished his like Hall of Fame credits, I think.
Well, that's the talk is you're going to call him RW1. I'm going to call him Russie Hussey. I think Russie Hussey, that's the question is he playing his way out of the Hall of Fame? I don't think so. But yeah, Steve Young was great. Started out late. because we didn't start guys right away.
Right.
That we let them sit behind great quarterbacks so they could come in and also be a great quarterback. And guess what? That system worked.
Yeah.
All right. But he also was into a system that was already working, and all he had to do was just not be bad.
Right.
Russell Wilson, I mean, just his numbers are better. And he would have 2 Super Bowl wins if it weren't for Pete Carroll trying to friggin' throw it there. But I mean, in yards passing, he's 16th, rushing, he's 4th, in TDs passing, he's 12th, rushing, he's 22nd. He's 12th in wins. I just think his numbers are better. He was really good, and it's a shame to see these last few years how it's kind of turned out.
Yeah, and for my money, one of the best deep balls in NFL history. So his numbers. Yeah, I mean he's almost a top 10 in TD passes. He's top 20 in yards. I know Young was later on, but he was 45th and 39th in those categories. Young has 2 Super Bowls. Russ has 1, and like you said, he should have had another one. Like if Russ has 2, I don't think it's that close. I'm with you also. I think people forget how good Russ was because of what was going on, what's been happening these last few years. Plus, I almost took Steve Young because Russell Wilson, who was in the NFL this year, was on like one of the New Year's Eve Rockin' Eve parties. And I'm like, dude, he was on the same one I think Diana Ross was on. I'm like, come on, buddy. Like that's Joe Namath's job. You don't get to be in these things until the year like 2039, Russ. So it was crazy. So Russ is going to
definitely wins the cringe award.
Yes, he does. He would be the number 1 overall cringe. Him and Namath, I think, would be the 2 of the cringe quarterbacks here. So Aaron Rodgers, Randall Cunningham. For me, you could not have one of my least favorite quarterbacks and one of my favorite quarterbacks. Randall Cunningham was one of my favorite quarterbacks growing up. I will tell you right now, in sports, I'm a one-team guy. But if you told me, hey, you get one team to root for in all the sports the rest of your life, you wouldn't even get that out. It would be Cubs. It would just be the Chicago Cubs. That's it. I will live with the rest of it. As a Bears fan in football, especially fantasy football, I enjoyed other teams. I liked the 80s Eagles. I did enjoy the Niners of that time as well. Those Eagles teams were great. I loved it. And I loved watching Randall play. And it just, I don't like Aaron Rodgers because like he's a Packer. That's really it. He can kind of be a D-bag at times. But I don't think it's close. It's Aaron Rodgers. Like he is so good.
He's top. The numbers 5. Don't lie.
No, he's top 5 in yards and TDs. He's still playing in his 40s, and he does have a Super Bowl win, which we'll talk about that later. Why, as a quarterback, wins and Super Bowl rings. Like I don't know if it gets a little bit too inflated about greatness, but it's Aaron Rodgers. As much as I hate to say it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do remember when we were growing up, you remember those like ski masks that you had
I had the Eagles one.
Face mask. You had the Eagles one. Why are they not still making those? It was the greatest idea ever.
Dave and I think, have that conversation at least twice a year. It's it'll be in the wintertime. We'll talk about it, or something like that'll pop up. Those are great. And they were the warmest, like I'm telling you, they were the warmest things. I mean, it's so hot. I had the Eagles one and a Chargers one. I don't know why I don't have the Bears one. And then, but because the Chargers uniforms are the best uniforms ever. And then Dave had the Seahawks and maybe he had the Chargers Raiders. I thought we had a Tampa one too, but maybe not a Tampa one. I thought we had a Chargers one. So Dave would remember. If Decision Dave would be on here, we would ask him, but no. Speaking of the Chargers, segue, you got Dan Fouts as a 12 seed, Matthew Stafford as a 5. This is a fun one, I think, because those that grew up in the 80s, like Dan Fouts was like one of the first guys to really be throwing the ball a ton in that air attack there which was San Diego at the time, is now the Los Angeles Chargers. Yes. And I think, and then you go against Matthew Stafford, who I think in the realm of today's NFL is highly underrated on how great Matthew Stafford is. So I don't know if you remembered Fouts watching him at all. And I'm going to like to hear your thoughts on Matt Stafford. I think I'll bring John in too here in a minute to see what his thoughts on Stafford are.
Yeah, I vaguely remember Dan Fouts. Like I know who he is, I know what he looks like, but I don't really remember. Like the first full year I remember like being interested in football was that Bears Super Bowl run in '86, and that'd be just because the Bears were amazing that year. That helped. But I
Yeah.
was like 8, so it was at that age where you're starting to understand the game and everything. So yeah, Fouts I don't remember much. With Stafford, not only is he just really good, he might be one of the toughest dudes on planet Earth. Um, they were showing the one Lions game. It came up on my X feed uh, where he pretty much I think he dislocated his non-throwing shoulder at the end of a Lions game, and he's laying on the ground telling his teammates not to touch him. They pull him to the sidelines, and whoever they were playing took a timeout.
Yeah.
And it was to win the game. And he's like, he gets up off the ground. He's like, I can throw one. I can throw the ball. I can throw it once. I can throw it once. And he throws a touchdown to win the game. And the guy has been dealing with back problems. He got just annihilated year after year in Detroit. The guy is tough as nails. He can sling the ball. He's top 10 in yards and touchdowns, and he's 13th in wins, and he's not done yet. So I think he goes Stafford.
I'm bringing John in. John, what are your thoughts on Stafford? I know my other son, Adam, a huge Lions fan. He loves Matthew Stafford, and he would be here saying probably Matthew Stafford is the greatest quarterback ever. But that play, that was his rookie year. That's one of my favorite things to watch. Anytime it pops up, I will sit and watch when he did that. Yeah, and it was the Browns doing Browns things, calling a timeout.
It was the
there.
Browns. That's right.
Yes. John, your thoughts on Stafford?
I think I've always had a soft spot for him. It's a little blasphemous, but because the NFC North is so well pollinated in the family, like I like all of the teams there. So I like Stafford. I feel like I should hate him because they beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I was just talking about this with one of my coworkers today. If we had to lose that game to any quarterback, I think I'm kind of glad that it's Stafford. It's a shame that the accolades didn't come in Detroit. I'm glad they're coming now. I really hope that he wins MVP. I think Drake May's got all the analytics beat on him, but no, if it's coming down to me, I'm going Stafford.
Yeah, I'm with Stafford too. I love Matty Ice. That's not Matty Ice. That's Matt Ryan.
Oh,
Matt Stafford.
Matter with you.
Yeah, it's Matty Fire. Is that what it is?
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, Stafford's it. Like I think you don't realize how good Stafford is. And he could end up if he play. I don't know how many years he has left. He's 6th in passing yards, 7th in touchdowns. He does have a Super Bowl. He could get a Super Bowl this year too. And if he gets a second Super Bowl, I think he's going to be talked about as maybe a top 10 of all time. So Stafford moves on. I'm going to keep John on here for a minute because I want him to talk about a couple of these things, but I'll show the bracket for the next group. You got Elway as a 3 seed against Donovan McNabb. Fran Tarkenton, our first old guy, as a 6 against the play-in of Kurt Warner, Carson Palmer, which is going to be a fun conversation. You got Johnny Unitas and Bart Starr, 2 super old guys. And then to round out the top section there is Dan Marino and Josh Allen, who just put on a performance. And I thought that Josh Allen this year was gonna put it all together because it just how it was laid out in the AFC. So let's skip the John Elway. Let's just do this. Donovan McNabb had a good career. John Elway's better. The same time.
And I was actually crunching the numbers. I think we have the wrong Mick in here. I think McNair should have been in over McNabb because his numbers are actually better.
Yeah, I think either way, it doesn't matter, to quote Shannon Sharp, McNair, McNabb, McRib, Elway in 5. So
yeah,
we will do that. So
I did want to say one thing about McNabb. It was something I was thinking about randomly today. The Chiefs collapse is I don't know how long the Eagles were good for when Reed was the head coach. Was it 4 straight NFC Championship games?
Yeah, they were good. They were like Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Yeah, they were great. McNabb was such a solid. He choked in the one Super Bowl, but you'll have that. So yeah, he was so good.
I could have looked it up before, but I didn't even look at the scores. I wonder how close it would have been if they just a couple of those games would have gone a different way. Would we look at McNabb's career, at least at that point, like the way we do at Mahomes' career with Reed.
Yeah, I mean, if McNabb
levels of like getting to at least the doorstep of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a Super Bowl and they lost. If he has a Super Bowl win, if McNair has a Super Bowl win, I think like and he was that close on that play. So, yeah, it's one of those things like some of these 14, 15, 16 seeds, you want to throw McNair in instead of McNabb, I'm okay. You're split hairs there. So this is the one I kind of wanted you in on, John. Fran Tarkenton, obviously you know who he is, but none of us saw him play. But I want to get you on the play in the hold on a second. We have a sound bite here. I'm just trying this stuff for news. So anytime, I didn't do it for the 16th seed, but let's see this. All right. So Kurt Warner, Carson Palmer.
Round 1, fight.
All right. So there's that. All right. Playing around some stuff. We're getting bold here. So Kurt Warner, Carson Palmer, a little bit before your time, John, but you know enough. Do you have a sway either way on leaning who wins this matchup?
I do. So I want to say something really nice about Carson Palmer first. I was watching highlights of him today. There was a way that he threw the ball. He had a cannon, but whenever he threw it deep, it just looked prettier than I think most arcs did. And it baffled me that he had such touch with being such a gunslinger at the time. But it's Kurt Warner.
All right, Nate.
I actually am going to zag on this one. Kurt Warner, greatest show on turf, great guy, couple MVPs, Super Bowl. But I think if I'm picking one to be on my team, if it weren't for Carson Palmer, once he got that knee injury, he didn't look the same the last few years in Cincinnati. He looked like he was done when he was in the Raiders. And then when he went to the Cardinals, it was like, oh man, he still has it. Yeah. He had a few good years there, the Cardinals, and it's like, what could have been if he could have just had confidence in his offensive line before he got there? I mean, he's still top 20 in yards and touchdowns. I know none of the Super Bowl accolades that Kurt Warner had, but I want Carson Palmer on my team. So I'm going Palmer.
I got you. So I'm the deciding vote here. So Carson Palmer, I think, is one of the most underrated quarterbacks of that era when he played. He was so good. He had a great ball. And Kurt Warner, again, such a short window that he played. And here's the thing, Palmer is 17th in yards, 16th in touchdown passes. Warner obviously did not have the length, so he's 50 and 48th in those. He does have the Super Bowl and the greatest show on turf. Those years that when he was in with the Rams, replacing Trent Green, IU quarterback, by the way, it was so good. And then he got the Cardinals to the Super Bowl. And if somebody would have just been able to tackle, what's his name? You got that pick at the end zone. Yeah, Harrison. I think people were afraid to because Harrison probably ripped him in half. But like, they tackle it. Like, he could have 2 Super Bowls. I'm going Kurt Warner because he has a Super Bowl. I'm not going to discount because he did not play very long, but his short part of his career was great. I'm gonna use the Bo Jackson analysis on it to be where I'm gonna put Bo Jackson as a top 10 running back of all time, even though he did not play very long, because I just look at the tape. Nothing against Carson Palmer, but I am gonna go Kurt Warner, who moves on against Fran Tarkenton. Here's the only thing I'll say about Fran Tarkenton. I'm taking Fran Tarkenton. Nate, are you taking Fran Tarkenton?
I am taking Fran Tarkenton.
Right. John, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know who you would take here. Tarkenton does not have a Super Bowl. He was one of the first kind of scrambling quarterbacks. 15th in yards, 13th in TD passes. He did go to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. So he was Jim Kelly before Jim Kelly. So if you watch, he was good. I'm taking him over Warner. I would have taken him over anyone.
He's 8th in rushing yards for quarterbacks still to this day. When there's a lot more
crazy.
He's still top 10.
Yeah.
And I've never seen the guy play it down.
Right. It's Fran Tarkenton, I think here. So I'm not even Johnny Unitas, Bart Starr, John, as a 20-year-old.
What are your memories
as your mid-20s? Yes. Do you even have a take on this?
Whoever's in more Medicaid commercials.
There's,
That's my take on it.
there you go. All right, we're gonna put John.
Oh
in
wait,
the back.
can we call that the Unk Bowl?
Unk Bowl. We'll call it the Unk Bowl. All right, John, we're going to put you in the back here on ice for a little bit. Not Matty Ice, but we'll put you on ice while we talk about these old geezers. So, yeah, I never watched either of these guys. Barstar, Green Bay quarterback, won the first two of the modern Super Bowls. Here's the thing, though. Johnny Unitas, who has not played since 70 whatever, 4, I don't know, after I was born. He is 25th in passing yards and 18th in TD passes. He does have a Super Bowl. I think he had previous football championships before they had the Super Bowl. So for this one, it's pretty easy for me. I think it's Unitas. I think Unitas was one of those guys that really changed the way the quarterback position played by throwing the ball and throwing it well and deep, because most guys that wasn't a thing before pretty much the early mid 80s of the passing attack.
Right. And Johnny Unitas, so from 56 to 73, to be clear, he's 14th in wins as well as, 18th in touchdowns, 3 MVPs, 118 wins, 63 losses. And Bart Starr's a Packer, so it's Johnny Unitas.
Exactly. We don't even need the other stats. He's a Packer. So this is going to be interesting. It's not going to be close. I'm moving Marino on because, anyone that thinks Josh Allen is better than Dan Marino does not know ball. And as we've known through 10 episodes here, Nate and I know ball.
We know ball. I do think it's unfair that the guy who does the seating, I don't know what his name is, had to put Josh Allen against Marino, because can we just say the guy's – did he? I didn't get to catch most of the game because I was coaching Grayson's game. Did he have any rushing touchdowns today? Is he over 80 rushing touchdowns?
He is over. He had 2 today.
He had 2 today. 81.
He's 81 touchdowns. He has the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. And he's so good. I know Mahomes has the Super Bowls. If you're telling me right now, you got to take. And again, this is before Mahomes got hurt. This is prime Mahomes. Prime Allen. I think I might take Josh Allen. That dude just gets it done. He can throw the ball. He can run. And I just like him better, I think, than Mahomes too. So nothing against Mahomes, because we'll get to him here in a little bit. But I think Josh Allen, I'm telling you right now, all the people the Lamar love, who's not on this list we may talk about, Josh Allen is better than Lamar Jackson.
5-head Lamar? It's not a 4-head. That's a 5.
5-head Lamar. All right. We will bring in the bracket again for this one. The other number 1 seed is Peyton Manning. He's going up against Vinny Testaverde and Kirk Cousins. Maybe if you're going to watch these things as games, this would be the least watched game matchup of all. You start doing 32. Maybe we should change it. Just put Steve McNair into that one.
I'd be down.
Yeah. You got Phillip Rivers, Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, Brett Favre and Joe Flacco, and then you've got a Steelers off, Ben Roethlisberger, Terry Bradshaw. So, do you care who wins the Vinny Kirko Chains matchup? Do you even have they
kind of have similar numbers. I mean, in passing yards, Testaverde is 18th all time, Cousins is 19th, and passing touchdowns, Testaverde is 19th, Cousins is 15th. I think we can combine them, and they still lose to Peyton Manning.
Oh, you could do that.
So they both win, but they both lose to Peyton Manning.
I'm just going to take Vinny Testaverde because I think Kirko Change is overrated, and I think Testaverde may have won a Heisman when he was at Miami.
And if he could have been on some better teams, also that would have helped.
Testaverde was fine. They're both the exact same. They're just kind of cheesy quarterbacks that put up good numbers and have no Super Bowls to show for it. So, but Peyton Manning's winning. We will talk Manning later on when we get here. Rivers and Matty Ice. I'm bringing John back in because this is kind of in his wheelhouse. We just saw Phillip Rivers playing this year. I did not think that was going to be, and he bumps his Hall of Fame status now 5 years down the line. However, he does get health insurance for his 2,700 kids for 5 more years, which is why I think he came back. He did not look horrible He was not great. People were like talking about, let's slow down. Let's as we like to say here, hashtag CYT on Phillip Rivers looking like he's some great guy. He was fine. He didn't win a game, I don't think. And then he was just fine. Like as a 45-year-old, he was great. Like, but this is a tough one for me because I think just much like the Testaverde Cousins one, these guys are very similar. Ryan, they both went to a Super Bowl. I think did Rivers? No, Rivers did not.
Rivers did not.
I was thinking that was like before Rivers when it was in the Chargers when they went there.
They made it in 97, 96 or 97.
See, that's how old I am. I can't remember all the Chargers quarterbacks. So Ryan made a Super Bowl. He does have an MVP, and Rivers has neither of those.
One of the better MVPs of the
that year. That Matt Ryan year was great. I mean, Julio Jones and what's his name? The other receiver I can't ever remember because Julio Jones is so
Roddy White.
Good. Yes, it was Roddy White. Look at John coming in. That's why he's getting paid the big bucks to be here. Right. That was a good team. Where do you stand? Because you're the younger of us.
I'm going Matt Ryan.
Okay. Nate?
I think Rivers was probably better for longer. But that 2-year stretch where Matt Ryan was the top 2 quarterback in the league just puts it over the top for me.
Yeah.
I always called Rivers Captain Consistency in fantasy drafts. If the quarterback went early, it's like I know Rivers going to be there. He's not going to put up huge numbers, but he's not going to crap the bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple years where Matty Ice was superior, but if you look at the totality of it, Rivers is 8th in yards, 6th in touchdowns, 9th in wins, 0 curse words said, and 10 kids. The stats are the stats.
Exactly. So that's the kind of I like. I have I try to say 0 curse words on here, and I have 6 kids. Like I said, so you're going Phillip Rivers.
I am going Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I think because Ryan is 9th, so he's just behind Rivers in passing yard. He is 10th in passing touchdowns. He does have the MVP. Here's the thing: if I had to choose one of these guys in their prime to lead a franchise, it would be Rivers because I think he's a better leader and field general than Ryan. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna go Rivers just because he's got the higher in both. I'm not an MVP. I just go okay, whatever. It's an MVP, and nothing is right because I like both these guys. Like I have nothing against Matty Ice. I have always liked Matty Ice, and he should have a Super Bowl too. It was the defense and Kyle Shanahan's fault. But I think I'm gonna go Rivers just because it seems like trendy because Rivers is played this year. It's crazy to think he should win just for the fact that he was going to be eligible for the Hall of Fame.
He
came back and played the year. I think that trumps a Super Bowl kind of thing. It'd be like me going back after a torn Achilles, now almost at the age where I can have my Buckeye card, my golden Buckeye card, going back and leading a church league on carpet, because they needed a 5th, and I'm playing point guard and still dishing out some dimes. So I'm going Phillip Rivers in that one. There's another one too. John Favre was a little bit earlier than you, but then we've got Joe Flacco, who's also in his 40s. How many 40-year-old quarterbacks playing this year is crazy. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think this one's going to be pretty easy. I remember when they were calling Flacco elite because that playoff run he had was probably the greatest playoff run of all time. But it's Brett Favre easily.
Yeah, Flacco's a better human being, but Favre.
This is not the better human being of quarterbacks, because then Phillip Rivers may be the number one, but it is Brett Favre. And then Steelers off. I know John despises the Steelers. People may say Bradshaw.
Well, he should.
Yes, people may say Bradshaw with 4 Super Bowl wins as a 12th seed is just blasphemy, and I say Terry Bradshaw is not that great. He had a great team, a great defense, and like he won for okay.
There were
The
like
wins.
15 Hall of Famers on that roster.
I mean, that was ridiculous. I'm not saying that Bradshaw is a bad quarterback. You don't because you win 4 Super Bowls. That's got to stand for something. But I'm just thinking.
I didn't know until I started looking into it. He's 19th all time in rushing yards for quarterbacks.
Yeah, he could get out. He could get out and move. I enjoy him. I used to enjoy him. I should say he was like Chris Collinsworth, where early Bradshaw announcing and being in studio, I loved, much like early Chris Collinsworth announcing, I really enjoyed. Now I cannot stand either of them. Again, I kind of went bet. I kind of went
guys that used to be all right. And just annoying. I mean, if either one of these were
and here's the thing. Like Big Ben has 2 Super Bowls, and his stats are better. And plus, we can have like a horrible human being off in the next round against Favre. So I think it's Roethlisberger. I think people like Roethlisberger was so good and so consistent.
It was so hard to take down. The guy was a redwood tree.
Yeah. So I think it's that way.
Yeah, he's top 10 yards, touchdowns, wins.
Yep.
He's 7th in yards, 9th in touchdowns, 5th in wins.
Yeah, I mean he's got the stats. He's got 2 Super Bowls. So he
did have the bus, but still.
He did, but still, I mean, he's elite. All right, so we got the last first round. We'll just go through this one quickly. Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, 3-14. The 6-11. You got Warren Moon against Aikman, Eli Manning. You got Mahomes against Jim Kelly. You got Joe Montana against Michael Vick. So I'm going to take John off here because I think this is going to be more our wheelhouse. I'm going to get John once we get to the Elite 8 and stuff. So John, I'm going to be backstage here real quick here. And then, all right, Brees Luck is one. It's a good one. I feel bad because Andrew Luck, I think, could have had a really, really solid, great career had he decided not to leave.
What could have been?
Yeah. He's the Bo Jackson of quarterbacks. He's such a great throw. And he was a good field general, but we're talking Drew Brees, who has a Super Bowl and he's second in yards and passing. So as much as I like them both too, as much as I like Andrew Luck, it's Drew Brees and it's not close.
No, Andrew Luck does have a better neck beard, but
he does. He does. All right. Aikman Manning, Eli Manning, that is, against Warren Moon. So this is like the Aikman Manning. I put them together because I think they both have multiple Super Bowls. Aikman was on the way better team. Aikman has the better record because he was on the way better team. I think both these quarterbacks aren't really that great. For me, I think Aikman, as much as I don't like him and think he benefited from the talent around him, he was a very accurate quarterback and he did what he needed to do. He's not turning the ball over. Because you can't just throw anybody in that Cowboys as a quarterback and they're going to win like they did. So I take Aikman over Eli. If Eli does not have both Super Bowls, if he has 0 Super Bowls, like he's not even in this thing. If he has 1, he may not even be in this thing because I think Phil Simms is a better quarterback than him.
Still 11th in yards, 11th in touchdowns, and tied 15th with wins. And he was the Brady killer when nobody could be the Brady killer. But yeah, I mean, his numbers are better than Aikman. But before diving into the numbers, if you would have been like, who's better, Aikman or Eli Manning? I'm like, Aikman.
Well, no, it's just because that was it's a different time back then. No one threw the ball, and you had Emmitt Smith. So why are you going to throw the ball if you don't? Right. You got Emmitt Smith and a great defense. So, you take him Aikman.
Yeah, I'm taking Aikman.
All right, and then Aikman against Warren Moon. I love Warren Moon. Warren Moon was my second ever pick in the Dave Low Hoop League behind Thurman Thomas was my number 1 overall. Not the overall pick. It was the first round pick. So I love Warren Moon. Warren Moon
spent the Unk stat of the day.
Okay. Oh, that was it.
That's the Unk stat of the day.
I drafted Warren Moon in a fantasy league.
And Thurman Thomas.
So, Warren Moon played 6 years in the Canadian Football League, and if you would have taken his stat, like just take half his stats in that one, like he's already playing 6 years in the Canadian League. He's 13th in passing yards, 17th in touchdowns. He was part of that great run and shoot that the Houston Oilers, that's another unk phrase there, the Houston Oilers had. I love Moon. He could just throw the ball so well. And I know Aikman has the hardware, but if you're saying you got to start a team with Warren Moon or Troy Aikman and everything else the same, give me Warren Moon every single day.
All day long, Warren Moon.
Yeah. Mahomes and Kelly. Here's the thing about Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly went to 4 straight Super Bowls. So you got to give him credit for something. Like, no one else has ever gone to 4 straight Super Bowls. Like, it just hasn't happened. He lost them all. Scott Norwood makes that kick. He gets if Scott Norwood makes that kick, he gets at least 1 Super Bowl. I don't know how the butterfly effect changes the entire dynamic of things, because they did get their butts kicked in a couple of those.
Yeah, they
pretty
progressively
bad.
They progressively lost.
It did.
More in all
it did.
those. And sorry, Jim Kelly can't win the big one. I think
No.
that's a.
And here's the thing, as much as I'm an unk, like, Pat Mahomes is a better quarterback than Jim Kelly. Pat Mahomes already has 3 Super Bowls and stuff. So it's Mahomes. People may say Mahomes is. Here's the thing: if you want to say Mahomes is underseeded as a 7, here's what I say: he's still playing. He's played 7 years. Here's what I took it with the guys that are currently playing that are not like at the twilight of their career. If their career ended right now, where would I put them? And this is where I put Mahomes, because like it was a shorter career. The last few years, the numbers weren't there. He was still winning, but the numbers weren't great. And so like he would be 7, because I think some of these guys that have more there. Now, if we do this, like once Mahomes retires, like Mahomes is probably going to be a top 3 seed, maybe a top.
As of now, he's not in the top 20 in yards, touchdowns, or wins.
Yeah. So he's got the
got
Super
2
Bowls,
MVPs and
which
3
is fine.
Super Bowl MVPs. The guy's good. But
the guy's good. Like I'm not like
right now, you wouldn't have him higher than us.
Now I will say, if the Bears had drafted him and he had 3 Super Bowls with the Bears, he would be the greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh yeah, he'd be like a 3 seed.
We wouldn't even have this draft. It would just be like Pat Mahomes. Thanks for listening. All right. So this is a fun one. Like Montana's gonna win, but we threw Vic in. Vic was one of these guys Nate and I talked about. Again, a lot of these quarterbacks, and you realize this with most elite athletes, a lot of them garbage human beings. It just is. Like, I love Michael Jordan so much. Garbage human being.
Right.
So, like, he was so electric. Go watch Michael
It was
Vick highlights.
fun to watch.
And here's the thing: Michael Vick is the best running quarterback to ever play the game, because he was the fastest of the quarterbacks. He was the most dynamic of the running quarterbacks, and he was the best passer, I think, of it. You may want to say Steve Young. Okay, but Vic could just it was weird because he would just sling it, and it was so fast, but it was catchable. Like Kaepernick, you want to talk about Kaepernick? You go back and watch Kaepernick. He was electric for that year because he could get out and run. He had no touch on the ball. If he could have a touch on the ball, he would have lofted that up just a little bit better pass. They would have won that Super Bowl. But Montana is elite. Talk about Vic for a little bit, because I know you wanted to have some stuff to say about him.
Yeah, I mean, what could have been, it's the same thing with Mike Tyson. If he didn't spend those years in jail, what could he have done?
Right.
Vic is still 2nd in rushing yards, 9th in rushing touchdowns. He was electric to watch. He had an arm, he could run. Yeah. And even when he came back, his legs weren't what they used to be, and you saw him as a pocket passer. And
right.
Man, he could have done that.
Yeah.
And he's probably the only quarterback I can tell you right now. You're like, hey, you think he's a dog guy or a cat guy? I'm like, Vic's probably a cat guy.
He used to be a dog guy. So, all right, let's just start for the bottom and go back up. So, Mahomes, Montana. I'm not even gonna dignify this.
No, it's Montana.
It's Montana. 4 for 4 in Super Bowls, and the story about Montana when they beat the Bengals, which Nate and I were at the Super Bowl party. I think that was one of the Super Bowl. It was either 80. It was one of the 80, 84. One of the Super Bowls, though, and maybe in the Bengals one where he did.
It was the Bengals one because we were watching it. You were dating Kim Schindler at the time.
Yes.
And we were at the Schindler's house, And since we all from Indiana,
Yeah.
we were cheering
We're rooting for the
Golden-
Niners. And I always like the Niners, but
the
anyways.
Golden Domer out of Notre Dame,
Yes.
Montana. And I remember the look when he came back with that win, and we cheered, and it's like,
Yeah.
we should.
It was funny because everyone's spirits were high, and then as he was moving the ball down, it got lower and lower. And then when Taylor caught that touchdown, me and Mom went crazy, and the place went silent, and people just started filing out. So
it was awkward.
It was
really
awkward, but it was great. And Joe Montana is just one of the best just quarterbacks staying calm under pressure. Like, you want to talk about Hurts being one of those guys. Like, I'm not a big Jalen Hurts guy, but he is just like pulse, everything just stays steady. Montana was like that. Plus, Montana had a few great sketches when he hosted Saturday Night Live, but that's a whole different thing we'll get to. Breeze,
Montana's a better vibes guy.
He's a better vibes guy, yes. Breeze, Warren Moon. As much as I love Warren Moon, like Drew Brees' numbers.
The numbers are the numbers, man.
The numbers are the numbers. Plus, he was like 5'8", 5'9", which is that much more impressive.
It'd be like Tom Cruise thrown in the NFL.
Right. All right, we got, let's go. Manning, Rivers, not even close. Peyton takes us by a mile. We'll talk more about Peyton later on here once we get in the nitty-gritty. Favre, Roethlisberger is an interesting one. They are both kind of right there with the numbers. Roethlisberger, 2 Super Bowls. Favre 1. Favre 4 and 5 in passing yards, passing touchdowns. Ben 7 and 9. Are you just going against Favre because he's a Packer?
No, in the dirtbag off, I am taking Brett Favre because
It is.
three MVPs, 4th in yards, 5th in touchdowns, tied for 2nd in wins. He also is the reason we use the term gunslinger, because he still has the most interceptions out of any quarterback ever. But it's like, he won a Super Bowl. He's a gunslinger.
He's a gunslinger. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm with you. Like, I do have a soft spot with Favre because when he was with the Vikings, the quarterback combo of him and Matt Schaub, not on this, helped propel me to a low hoop fantasy win. But no, Roethlisberger is the better quarterback. Roethlisberger was so clutch. And I think he wasn't a gun. I think he was just a better thrower of the ball. Favre was super excited. There were some Favre highlights that just unreal. And if you're talking like the Favre Rodgers one would have been fun to talk about, but that's not here. So it is Roethlisberger and a slight upset, a 5 over a 4. Unitas Marino. I'm just going to tell you right now, Dan Marino is my all-time favorite quarterback. And for my money, the best pure thrower of all quarterbacks of all time.
Did you take Big Ben over Favre? Because I took Favre over Big Ben.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's
Get
bring John in. I took Favre. He's going Favre because he hates Roethlisberger. Who are you taking, Favre or Big Ben?
Yeah, I'm taking Favre.
All right. So I got to change this in here. I don't care because like either one, it's one of those that are so close. It doesn't bother me at all.
Can we just say that him being in Something About Mary should be the deciding factor?
It could be. So, all righty. I'll put you back behind on that. I might have to have him check. Hey, John, check your, I don't know if you have the phone and the computer on, but that sound was a little bit weird on that one. So, all right.
Marino, back to Marino. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
guys
talking
in
about
movies. Guys in movies. All right.
Talk about great cameos in movies. Ace Ventura, tremendous on
Dan
that.
Marino
for Dan Marino
should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell is one of the greatest lines said in any movie. What a sports nut, huh?
Yes. And what he was on
Laces out.
Laces out. Yeah. No, Marino, I love him. The fact that he threw for 5,000 yards in 1984 is unbelievable. He was just so great. I think he was the first guy ever to do the fake spike play as well, where he fake and he just tossed it there. And he did not have great talent around him ever. He never had a running game. And the marks were great, Duper and Clayton, but they weren't elite. We're not talking elite receivers. The defense was never good. And the only team to beat that Bears Super Bowl team.
Kept us from being undefeated.
And thank goodness they lost in the playoffs, or I think they would have beat us in the Super Bowl. I know. All right, so another Unk one, Elway Tarkington. As much as Tarkin is great, John Elway, two
It's
Super
John
Bowls.
Elway.
He was so good. He was one of the great like comeback kids, bringing a team back. He was also in the Stanford marching band game as well.
Oh, that's right.
And did you know this is I'll say that because it's an Elway Marino one. This is going to be a fun little stat that most people probably don't know. All right. We have Rodgers, Stafford, Brady, Russ. RW1 is now RW1 is now RW1 and done. So he is out. Brady wins. Rodgers, Stafford. This is interesting. Rodgers 5th and 4th yards, touchdown, Super Bowl win. Stafford is, I got to find my stats here, 6th and 7th and a Super Bowl win. So he's just behind them, 6-7. Thanks, Nate. So Stafford, if Stafford plays another year and Rodgers doesn't, Stafford will pass Rodgers in yardage. He will not catch him in touchdowns. So if Stafford plays another year, I think he's only about 2,000 yards behind Rodgers. That puts Stafford, he's 6th in yardage right now, just one behind Rodgers. They're very close, 4th and 7th in touchdown passes. Stafford, they each have one Super Bowl. If Stafford gets another one, either of them could get another one this year, but there's no way the Steelers are going to do it. Stafford also has produced the 3 best receiving years. I think he's got Cooper Kupp, Calvin Johnson, and I think Puka this year, or Puka the one. Like if Puka did it this year, like I think he was like the 3rd. I don't remember, but he has some of the greatest receiving yards guys ever. As much as Rodgers is phenomenal, this matchup, I'm taking Stafford, and it's not just because Rodgers is a Packer. I think Matt Stafford.
That's a big part of my decision. I'm going with the newly dubbed Matty Fire.
Matty Fire. Although I do request if we play the Rams and they knock us out, that I may come back and put Rodgers in there. So, all right. So our Elite 8. Tom Brady versus Matthew Stafford, 1-5. Elway Marino, 2-3. Manning Favre, 1-4. Breeze, Montana, a 2-3. So it's going to be chalk. I knew it would be chalk, which is fine. I mean, when you get stats like this, that's what it is. All right, I'm going to bring John in. You've got something there is echoing with your sound, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if you've got something on your computer turned up. Like, I don't know. But it's sounding really kind of rough.
There it goes.
Yeah, but I think he was totally off. Can you hear?
How's that sounding?
It sounds weird. So talk now.
I can always mute it and then just type in the chat if you need me to.
It's better. Whatever you did, it sounds better now. It's not the best.
There's no background. There's no background.
There's no echoing. So Brady, Stafford, these are guys in all of our generations. Much as I love Matt Stafford, this will be the first time really talk about Tom Brady. First in passing yards, first in touchdowns. 7 Super Bowls. He went to the Super Bowl in half the years he was in the league. And my favorite Tom Brady stat, Tom Brady played 20 years. He never took a snap with his team out of the playoffs. That alone is one of the most impressive stats in any sport. I love Matty Fire, but it's Tom Brady. I mean, it's Tom Brady. You guys agree, correct?
Yeah, that's not even a question.
No. All righty. And then we'll move down. This is an interesting one. So John Elway, Dan Marino. I heard someone talk about it. There was there is a team, there's a pro team that drafted 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, or they're like in first round. It was Elway and Dan Marino by the Kansas City Chiefs, or the Kansas City Royals. They both play baseball, so the Royals drafted them both. And so it's a fun little stat. Elway, kind of a punk, pulling that. I don't want to play for the Colts, so I'm going to play baseball to scare them off. I hate that move. I'm like, dude, you're an athlete. You're a pro. Who's ever drafted you? Be thankful that you have the talent. You don't have to really do a real job. Okay.
Right.
John Elway. I'm taking
Eli pulled that nonsense.
Eli did too, and I'm like, you're not even close to John Elway. John Elway at least has the backing to do it. I'm taking Marino all day long on this. Like I do like Elway. He has the 2 Super Bowls. They came late, so he's really thanking Terrell Davis for that. But as Dan Marino, like if I'm telling you right now, and I'm not saying Dan Marino's going to win it all. I would pick Dan Marino to win it all, but if I had to take a quarterback of all time to start a franchise, it's Dan Marino, and it's not even close, like, for me. Nate?
He was really good.
Yeah. Who are you taking?
What, over Elway and Marino?
Yeah.
I'm taking Dan Marino.
Yeah. Even though Elway's got the
Dan
Super
Marino.
Bowls. Yeah, Marino. Excellent. So we got a Marino Brady 1, and then you've got Manning Favre. So Peyton, we haven't really talked about Peyton yet. Peyton, kind of good. He's 3rd in passing yards, passing touchdowns, does have 2 Super Bowls on 2 different teams. He did go to 3 because it was the debacle that first time with the Broncos one where he played and the opening snap over his head and the Seahawks demolished them. Side note on that was February 2nd, 2014. You're like, how do you know that? Are you that big a fan of that? No, because that's the day I tore my Achilles playing church basketball. And I was in the emergency room getting looked at. John was there at the church. It is First Baptist Church here in Grove City. And still to this day, the gym is gone. They took the baskets down. I kept trying to ask them if they could put a little plaque or make a carpet square where it happened for me, but they did not. So I do remember that because I remember watching it and texting Dave, who was a huge Seahawks fan, because he was loving it. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm here in the ER watching it. So for my money, Peyton Manning is the best pre-snap quarterback. For my money, you take just skill-wise of all the skills, everything about the quarterback position, strip the stats away, I would take Peyton Manning over Brett Favre starting a franchise.
Not even close. Peyton changed the game.
Yeah.
Before that, I mean, he was basically the offensive coordinator on the field. They're like, here's 4 or 5 plays.
Yep.
Read the defense. There was before that guys came out and then there was an audible, but they were just like, hey, you know the playbook. Here's go out there and call it on the fly. That changed the game.
Yep. John, you've seen these guys both play. Favre, Manning, who's it for you?
Yeah, it's Manning, and I think Manning might be the only quarterback I would ever consider to be in the conversation of being above Tom Brady. I don't think he is.
No. And another side, another side note with Peyton Manning. Nate and I were going to do the Lonely Island sketches next week, and then I started watching. It's like I cannot talk about these sketches and not have it's just not appropriate. And then my wife was like, and your mom was like, you can't. And I'm like, no, I can't. It was like, we cannot properly talk about, maybe we do a March Chadness after hours.
There we go.
And then we just, have it, and it'll be on like
put it
Cinemax.
On
Put it on Cinemax or something. Yeah, he was in the sketch, that United Way sketch, which is one of my favorite sketches of all time. And he's just whipping the ball at those kids, yelling at them at the huddle and stuff. So fun. Peyton is one of the most likable guys, and him and his brother. Eli's probably funnier than Peyton, but they're both just enjoyable. Their Manning cast's great. I wish I would have been able to watch the one with Winston, but I don't have ESPN.
I think Eli is funnier, but he's a one-trick pony. It's just make fun of the size.
Yes, it's be dry, one-trick pony. Yes, he was not as good on Saturday Night Live. All right,
he asked Ray Lewis if he'd rather have $1 million or Peyton Manning's helmet full of quarters. Just one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
It's great because it's like that brother humor where Nate and I are brothers. We get it. John is the oldest of 4 other boys in the house and a younger sister, but you only Noah and Liam are picking on Emily, and then they only do it when none of the olders are at the house because I think Xander would just attack him. So, all right, Breeze, Montana is a very interesting one for me. Breeze's numbers, obviously, second. He does have a Super Bowl. Montana's not even really close. He's top 25 in both passing yards and passing touchdowns. He has 4 Super Bowls. He was undefeated in the Super Bowl. And people want to say, well, he did have the greatest receiver of all time in Jerry Rice. So there's that. For my money, I am taking Montana. I would probably take Montana even if he only had 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, the numbers are the numbers, but the eye test is the eye test. Montana was just,
and he kind of revolutionized with that offense. I know, it wasn't just Montana; it was that system that Walsh put in. But you still need the guy to do it, and it's Montana for me. John, are you a Breeze guy?
Yeah. No,
you are a Breeze.
I am, but not more than
no,
Montana.
not for this one. Okay, I think Noah would yell at me, but like
not for this one. Not for this one.
No, he doesn't know who Joe Montana is. So, all right,
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana. I might take Joe Montana over Drew Brees. So Peyton Manning, the 1 seed, Joe Montana, the 2. You got Tom Brady, the 1, Dan Marino, the 2. Final 4. Let's go down here. Manning, Montana. As much as I like them both, I am taking Manning over Montana. Are you guys with me?
5 MVPs says yes.
Yes. John, I believe, is probably with Manning as well because he never got to see Montana play. Brady Marino. I love Dan Marino. I can't. I just can't. Like the Brady numbers alone, as much as it would be if I had to choose a guy to run my franchise, it would be Tom Brady or Dan Marino. It's Tom Brady is winning this one. Like it you can't deny his numbers.
No, it's Tom Brady over Marino.
Yeah.
He only, and Marino didn't have a lot to work with, but Brady had 1 year with, an elite receiver in Randy Moss. And so he did all these numbers with kind of like smaller white guys,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like like people don't realize outside of the Randy Moss, era,
Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, guys that, even when they left there, didn't do anything.
Yeah. No, like
what they did with
his offenses were not great. Like he had Gronk, obviously, but he made the short slot, quick white wide receiver a thing. It was Brady. Brady's accurate, his timing. He's a great, dude, he's great even pre-snap as well. And again, the Super Bowls, his longevity, as much as I hate to say longevity, but if you do it and be that good, like he was in a Super Bowl with the Bucs. I mean, like he was good. And that stat of never taking a snap with his team not in the playoffs is unbelievable. And he Wally pipped Drew Bledsoe, who almost made this list. So I think John's Wi-Fi kicked him off. So I doubt we're going to need him here. I'll text him if I need to. We're almost done. Brady Manning. Again, I think if you're telling me franchise, like Tom Brady would probably, if I was taking a quarterback to run a franchise, Brady would probably be 5 or 6 on this list if I'm taking it. But we're not talking about which guy you're going to choose to run a franchise. Manning's one of the guys I would take over Brady. However, we're talking about the best quarterback. I think it's Tom. It's one of those things I was thinking about this driving here. We have the arguments about LeBron, Jordan, and I think there's probably 3 other guys you can throw in the NBA one, and you can have good conversations about it. Baseball, like it's so weird. You can just in baseball the best by position because it's so different and everything. I think Wayne Gretzky is probably hands down. You're not going to get a lot of pushback on anyone else on if you ask who's the greatest hockey player of all time. It's kind of Wayne Gretzky, and that's it.
I believe if you take Wayne Gretzky's goals away, he still has the most points.
Yeah, he has the most points. He has the most points,
which is bananas.
Right? Because I know Ovechkin just passed him in goals. Yeah, but the fact that you take all Gretzky's goals away, he's still the leading point scorer in the NHL.
All you need to know.
Yeah, so but I think Brady is probably pretty close to, if you're talking about greatest, NFL player. The NFL is different too because there's positions, but I think it's pretty close to Brady. The numbers, you got to stand on these numbers. Like it's unbelievable. He went to half of He went to the Super Bowl in half the years he was in the league. So you're with
and
me?
people want to say the longevity, but the win-loss ratio is insane. I mean, he has like 70 more wins than Favre and Manning, and he's got only 82 losses. Favre has 112, Manning has 79. He has 251 wins. Favre and Manning are sitting at 186. I mean, it's longevity, but he was dominating. I think it's like a 753% winning percentage. Like it's domination. It's just sheer domination.
So here's the question, and this is we're running going to be short out of time here. So this will be a conversation I would love to have later. If Brady loses 3 of those Super Bowls and is 4-6, does it change, or does it make it closer about someone else being the greatest quarterback? If he's 4-6 in Super Bowls,
it makes it closer, but he's still number one in all of the stats, in wins, yards, touchdowns. I think it makes it a different conversation, but I still think, I still think it's him.
Yeah. Okay. That's going to be more for, because that's an argument then in a later show about LeBron, because like it's one of those things, because like Brady is just like LeBron, but he's a winner. And that, so we will have a LeBron Michael discussion at some point, and I think we might try to bring on maybe 1 or 2 LeBron people that think LeBron is the greatest of all time, just to have a good friendly discussion, like, hey, bring your stuff, we'll do something like that. But Tom Brady's the winner. I'm glad he is the winner, because I think he deserves it. I'm not a big Brady guy, so it'd be great if he ends up losing to like Fruity Pebbles or get to the Choppa. Would be amazing when we do our championship bracket. So I do appreciate my oldest on here. I will call him to make sure he's all right. He may be in bed now. Nate, always great talking to you. 2 big wins. So we've got another big weekend next weekend with Hoosier champion. And I think you're with me. If I can only have one, if Indiana wins the championship next week or the Bears win next week, obviously it's going to be the Hoosiers. But what about you? If you could only have the Hoosiers win a national championship or the Bears win the Super Bowl this year, which way you going?
Well, see, I'm lucky. We're lucky enough to have seen a Bears Super Bowl win. So I'm going to go IU. My kids are going to tell me I'm crazy. But an IU national championship is something I never thought would happen. Yeah. It's like, I thought we'd have flying cars before.
Exactly. I'm with you too. Like, even if the Bears had not won a Super Bowl, the trajectory of this team, the team being young, I think the Bears have more chances. I'm afraid that Indiana is going to just go by the wayside after this little stretch. So I will take the Indiana.
Counting out Kurt Cignetti. How dare you?
Counting out Kurt Cignetti, the Raiders coach next year. So again, thanks for watching. Follow us on the X. Go to FanStream Sports Ohio. And fanstreamsports.com for all the ones for the Dallas shows, the Tampa shows, adding new shows all the time. But again, Nate, always a pleasure. And then we will talk at you next week.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. See you.
See you.